love tier lists. They're so much
like
fun.
conflict.
With
I think this would see just to do it. I thought I'd find you here.
It's time, isn't it? The tier list. You know ROTJ is not S tier. You've allowed the Ewoks to twist your mind until now. Till now you become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Don't lecture me, Konnor. I see through the lies of the fandom. I do not fear the comment section like you do. I brought peace, freedom, and justice to my new tier list.
Your new tier list.
Don't make me kill you.
Seth, my allegiance is to the tier list, to the podcast.
The Kenobi show is not A tier.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
You will try.
Welcome to a very special episode of Beyond the Dune Sea, episode 10 of Beyond the Dune Sea.
Digits.
Double digits indeed. And my favorite comment comes from YouTube from Michael Kramer 2647. If y'all are fighting, I got $5 on Konnor. Already stirring the pot.
What kind of a fight is he talking about?
Already stirring the pot.
What kind of a fight?
We said last week we're battling it out this episode.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing.
Well,
I'm just
admit,
getting it going.
I learned
Just getting it going.
he's got big feet, and he got a big range, but I don't care. I'm scrappy.
Yeah?
I'm scrappy.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't want to hear it. All right. Okay. Heart of gold over here. Heart of a lion. All right. My goodness. My comment from Instagram, Diamond Figs. This is talking about Return of the Jedi. One of the best parts of Return of the Jedi is how well Luke's conflict is portrayed, from dialogue all the way to his costume variations throughout the film. Episode 6 rules. Well, we'll see if it actually rules.
We will see.
Yes.
Because today, people, it's the tier list. All movies and shows from Star Wars, except for we're not probably going to put the Ewok movie on here.
No.
Let's be real.
No Caravan of Courage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is.
Battle of Andor. Those are the Ewok films.
Oh, that's just the subtitle. See, I don't even.
Okay. Yeah.
See what I mean? Yeah.
Okay.
Seth knows more than I do. Yes. So let's just break down some ground rules before we dive head first into this tier list. Because who doesn't love lists, people? Come on, it's going to be awesome.
It's the internet.
We got this little mug right here because we're not doing the newfangled technology nonsense, or we're going to put up a little screen. We got the board. The board is back, people.
I respect the board.
We got a little mug with little magnetic posters in it, and we're doing it for real. Some actual interaction. We're going to fight. He's going to move one down to F. I'm going to move one up to S. That's probably only going to be for Kenobi, but beyond that.
Yeah. We'll see.
Some ground rules, though, for how this is going to work. I want to explain, everybody kind of has their own definition of these tiers. So we're just going to kind of give our broad definition of what this is going to work for our show. F, starting with F. F is irredeemable. It's not only bad quality, it's offensive to the lore. It just should be erased from existence. That's F. F is bottom of the barrel. It's awful. Okay. So I wouldn't expect to see too much there, but you never know. And then D. D is bad. And let me define bad. Bad is not only maybe that it's bad to look at, it's bad quality, but also that it undermines the lore, right? So kind of a step up, just slightly above that F tier, but still
not completely offensive, only slightly offensive.
It undermines, it existing kind of makes you like the other stuff a little less, in that way. That's that's what bad, that's kind of my definition, right? It goes a little beyond just not being so nice to look at.
Gotcha.
C, mid, across the board. So that might be the more traditional definition of bad, where it's like, it was.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Or maybe you just didn't like it, but on paper it worked.
It's
maybe
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you sit back and maybe it's one of those things, right? Where it's like, well, actually the quality of it wasn't very good, but it didn't detract from anything. So that's kind of C tier. B tier, now we're getting into good. It's more good outweighing the bad, but definitely not without its faults. A, we're getting into great. It's awesome. It's very, very good, but just a step away from perfection. And S, it goes without saying. S, perfection. Nothing more needs said. It is without fault. That's kind of how the ranges are going to work. We're on the same page. All right.
Yeah.
So the way that we did our list and how, because a lot of these movies and especially the shows have different seasons, we're kind of taking in the law of averages. So we're like, let's say a show had some incredible seasons, but some awful seasons. We're kind of going to take a midway approach to that, which will be interesting. And we're going to have to fight that out and argue it, and of course, the final little note here, this is just our opinion, guys. And there may be stuff in here that you're like, yeah, Konnor's right and Seth is wrong. And hey, I'm with you if that's the case. Just right back to, gonna be a lot of this today. Gonna be a lot of this.
He's chosen violence already. I just that's what's happened. I came in here as a friend.
Yeah.
Yes. He entered
the dojo not ready to fight. That was his problem right there. You made a mistake. But if you guys have a differing opinion, please let us know why we're wrong in those comments down below. We'd love to hear it. Anything else we need to say?
I mean, basically, the law of averages is the important thing. Is that again, I really tried to break down, at least with my list, looking at episode counts and how many are good episodes and how many are kind of rough episodes and because I mean you have to look at that.
Yeah,
that is the whole thing, and then also your opinions about things shift as you get older and as you and that's why I want to hear people's opinions in the comments and stuff like that. Prove me wrong, make me change my mind, because I mean I remember growing up, my favorite Star Wars character was Boba Fett. Din Djarin's now basically Boba Fett, or what Boba Fett was. So I mean, it's crazy that my favorite Star Wars character doesn't really even exist anymore in the
way that he did.
In the way that he did, it's kind of wild. So my opinions about Star Wars change and shift, and again, I want to hear other people's opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So please, for real, if there is one episode where you guys want to give your opinion, this is the one.
Yeah.
It's okay to disagree, because believe me, we're going to be disagreeing.
Yeah.
There's going to be some disagreement, I'm sure, with you guys. And that's great because it's fun. It's fun to discuss. It's fun to kind of have some friendly banter to get into the mud. It's going to be a good time. Mm-hmm. So without further ado, we've blabbered on long enough. Let's get right into this because we got lots to cover. Who's pulling from the mug first?
You can go first.
Me? You want me? I come out swinging already.
You can go first.
Okay,
that's fine. Okay. I'm a gentleman.
All right. From my Darth Vader mug, we're gonna. All right, I got one right here.
Okay.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's first topic of discussion. So I'll go ahead and go first.
Yeah. And then I will let you know if I feel like it needs to be shifted.
I'm just gonna put it up on the board and then explain myself.
Yeah, that's fine. You do your thing.
I'm already coming out with a hot take. It's fine.
Yeah.
Rogue One is fine.
Yeah.
So my opinion of Rogue One is that I remember leading up to the release of this movie, I was really hyped by the trailers, and then the movie was kind of different than what I expected. That third act, so good. And I don't just mean the Vader thing. I mean that space battle may be the best space battle in live action Star Wars. It's so good. But the first two acts to get there, I don't really care that much about the characters. It's fine. I don't know. There's nothing in it that really sparked anything for me. The story is cool. How do they get the Death Star plans? I like the plot of it. There's a really great spectacle. I think Director Krennic is a really cool character. Say what you will about the Grand Moff Tarkin thing, but I thought that was a neat way to do that at the time. I know now that's all the buzz and the controversy, but at the time, it was an interesting thing to do, and pay respect to Peter Cushing. And I enjoyed that aspect of the movie. But the characters kind of fell flat for me, and the characters are at the heart of Star Wars for me. And those first 2 acts are just it does not feel super cohesive the entire movie. And considering what we know about what happened behind the scenes with Tony Gilroy coming in and basically rewriting like the last little bit of that movie, and when you watch the trailers, you see a lot of different ideas for that third act. Like they're running through the beach of Scarif with the Death Star planes. That never happens. It just feels a little more jumbled, like something got lost in the edit. So it's good. I like it, but it's just overall averages out to just fine for me.
I gotcha. I'm going to echo a lot of what you said. I mean, my whole thing is that like, I think it's fine. I think that the third act is great. I think that to kind of mimic what you said, I mean, I don't care about any of them. That's what's sad is when they start dying at the end. Chirrut's the only one I kind of care about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't get to know Bodhi well enough. I don't even get to know, like, Cassian and Jen that much more. And, like, yeah, like, I just think that, as you said, the characters are at the heart of Star Wars. And, like, definitely a lot of them didn't get enough character development, in my opinion. And even the ones that got a little bit more, at the end of the day, I just don't care that much.
Yeah.
Pretty movie.
Yeah.
Cool fights. But yeah, I'm fine with it being in C tier.
Okay,
That's
first
fine.
agreement. That's all I like to see. Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I remember this movie being billed as like the first gritty, realistic war movie. Like this is the Band of Brothers of Star Wars, that kind of thing. And there's a little bit like you get glimpses of that movie in moments, but I just overall don't think that it lands.
It's dumb because when like after it all settles, it's like, was it actually necessary?
The movie?
That like that's the whole thing, that once it all, it's like,
yeah,
was it really that
we
necessary?
Knew that story, just from the title crawl, right?
I didn't need to know that like all the details and everything like that. Yeah,
it's fine for me. Like it's good. I hear a lot of people. I think we even have a fan question this week. It's like, hey, what's your favorite Disney or Star Wars movie, and why is it Rogue One? I'm like, I don't know. It's never been my opinion. I mean, hey, it's great if you like it, but it's not.
Not my thing.
It's not mine either. But hey, there's a lot of redeeming qualities about it, though.
There are, and I get why people like it and stuff like that. And I can. The last thing I will say too, Giacchino mimicking John Williams is super sick in that movie.
Yeah,
yes, and again,
I love how that movie opens. Just that. Whoosh.
Yes, and then too that opening shot of them going across the. They film in Iceland. Is that where they filmed? Where they go to Jen's parents, where the plantation or whatever, that like all that's beautiful. Again, it's a beautiful movie. It's totally slick, but like, just
fine.
Just fine. Yeah. At the end of the day, there's more that I'm like, let's just get to the end. Yeah. All
right, Rogue One is C tier. What's up next? Ooh, we got a little peek of that one.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, we got a Lucas movie. I'm gonna.
What is it?
It is it's episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace, first prequel.
The first prequel. Do you remember where you were at when you first saw this? You rented this, didn't you?
I remember where I was at, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was, this was before I was really into Star Wars. I remember I was at the campground with my dad.
Yeah.
And he rented it, and we watched it. It was probably right after it came out on video, because I just wasn't into Star Wars at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it on a really tiny TV, and the only memory I have of it is Qui-Gon's funeral. That's it.
Okay.
I have no other memory from that movie.
I gotcha. I went, sat outside in a line and everything after school. I remember I wore my shirt with a little Anakin walking, and then he has he's got the shadow. Yeah, because I mean the marketing for this movie was insane. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna just set this right here.
Ooh, below Rogue One?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Because the whole thing is a lot like Rogue One. I think this thing really pops off in the third act. I really like how they juggle all the stuff, because have you ever heard that like whole thing that like Phantom Menace actually mimics Return of the Jedi more?
Yes.
And that it's like, I like that third act, but I think this one's actually a prettier third act, if that makes sense. It's probably just technology and stuff like that. That like this one hasn't aged as gracefully as some of the other ones, and then also you get the Jar Jar stuff that's going back and forth, and I'm like, it's fun, I guess, but I just think that it's all right. I like more what it did for the lore. I like the stuff with the Jedi. I like the stuff with like all the stuff that it did for Star Wars, but as a movie, I think it's just fine because we can get into the whole argument that like Obi-Wan probably should have been the main character of this movie, but instead our main character kind of shows up mid-movie on Tatooine. That it's just
it's a weird structure.
Yeah, and I don't need to re-explain all that to everybody. It's such an odd structure, but oh my gosh, John Williams' music is awesome in it. He's bring your pot out. He was ready to cook. Yes. And you can argue. I mean,
I'll make an argument for where I'll have it.
Yeah,
and
you can.
I get a lot of what you're saying.
Yeah.
I personally have it here.
You have it the high of the B?
Not high necessarily.
Wait, okay, well you got me thinking I got all my stuff here.
I know, I'm just not spoiling where my other stuff's going. That's
okay.
All. So right now, because it's the only thing in B,
would you put it at the back of the B?
I'm not spoiling that just yet.
Well, I'm talking about that we got to put this in a spot.
I know. Well, for now, it's just in B. When we start putting everything else up there, I'll put it around
okay.
TPM, if it ends up in TPM. Here's my argument.
Okay.
I get everything you're saying.
Yeah.
And when I was making my list, I ultimately, if I had a couple things in a spot, this is what the question I would ask is, one, what you just said, what did it do for Star Wars?
Yeah.
And what movie would I prefer to rewatch right now?
I got you. No, I've got some of that on here too. Yeah.
And for both of those questions for this movie, it's this one. Like this one has more. It does more for Star Wars.
Yeah.
I would rather rewatch this. Like yes, there's some weird stuff in it.
There's
Absolutely,
some super weird stuff.
There's some weird stuff in it.
Yeah.
But like you said, John Williams' music. That third act is incredible.
It's good.
Qui-Gon Jinn. And
Qui-Gon's okay.
The pod race.
People need to like relax on him.
I love Qui-Gon.
People need to relax on him.
You need to
fine.
relax.
Like, hey, maybe I do, but I was just gonna. He's fine. Like you did. Like everyone talks like he's like, oh, he's perfection. I'm like, you don't see that much of him.
He is perfection. Okay. It's like Jaws. You just see a little bit of the shark, but that's all you need.
Oh, all we need is a little Liam Neeson.
You just need a little.
That's
a
all.
Little
Liam
Neeson goes a long way.
You're full of crap, Konnor.
No, I love Qui-Gon. No,
I like Qui-Gon as well, but I mean, everyone talks about that he's just like, oh, he's so awesome, and it's like, he's flying by the seat of his pants like the whole movie.
He's like the.
I know he's Mr. Trust in the Force.
I know he's awesome.
Okay, it's awesome, but I agree that pod race is sick.
The pod race is sick.
Who thinks of that? They're going to strap 2 jet engines to a little cart.
Yeah,
and then,
right?
and then comes up with that. That it's just again,
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
There's
just
cool.
like
I feel like every act in this movie has a scene that's like, whew.
Yeah.
But then you have a scene that's like,
yeah.
Ooh. But then you have the third act. Mm-hmm. But again, for me, it all comes back to, well, which would I prefer watching? And it's this one. So I put it in B. So I'll ask you a question. Have I convinced you to put it in B, or have I at least convinced you to put it above Rogue One in C?
You could put it above Rogue One.
So we're going to agree on C then?
That's fine.
I would do C.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, all right.
All right.
We're up with the next one. I'm trying to spoil it for myself.
Oh, I won't look. My bad.
It's funny because I cut these, so I'm like feeling a skinny one, and I know the skinny ones are the shows.
No, don't do that. What are you doing?
I'm not trying to. They're all sticking together because they're magnetic. Ooh. Star Wars Rebels. Okay. Do these stick to the mics? They don't. I was gonna say we could just like we're arguing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Star Wars Rebels. So I just rewatched this, so this is pretty fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
This is another one where it's like you're gonna hear me say, you know, I love my peaks and my valleys. You're gonna hear me say that a lot this episode, where there's some wow, but then some oof. Rebels is one of those shows where the peaks are really high. I don't think the valleys are super low though. It's just the valleys are just boring in Rebels. So again, I just rewatched it. Hey, look at that. The first season for me, I don't love. I don't love the first season. I love Jason Isaacs as the Grand Inquisitor. There's moments I like, but I'll be honest, I don't like a lot of the characters in season 1. I like Hera. I like Kanan kind of. Ezra's really annoying to me. Zeb is kind of annoying to me. I like the villains, but most of the Inquisitors are kind of just doofuses, And then
even the Grand Inquisitor is just kind of the boogeyman. He's just like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. Like,
Yeah.
and he's just walking towards them. Yeah.
So, but then you get to season 2. It starts to get a lot better. It's still got a lot of that stuff I don't like, but it's a lot better. And I'll be real, Vader helps that a lot. He's really good. And also, it's James Earl Jones' last real performance as the character. It's really good. Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka, Darth Maul comes in towards the end, and the characters start to get better. Okay. And then the 3rd season. So you know that meme of it's like the horse that's drawn poorly, but then it's like it like goes a kindergartner and then maybe a middle schooler for season 2. But then it's like flames.
Yeah.
That 3rd season pops off.
Yeah.
It is very good. I love that 3rd season.
Yeah.
Kanan became my favorite character in that season. I think his arc is so much better. I can appreciate him better in the first 2 seasons because he grows so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love Hera. I love Sabine grows so much as a character in that season. You get awesome stuff with Darth Maul. You get awesome stuff with Thrawn. It becomes an entirely different show at this point. It's really, really good. And then you get to the 4th season, also awesome. A little not as good as season 3, but also really, really good. So because of that, all that being said, I go with B because it's pretty good, but there is a lot that brings it down for me. And that's ultimately where I got to put it. But B, because I would put it C, to be honest with you. But those peaks, the law of averages, those peaks, it inches it up to B for me because they have, there's a lot of peaks in Rebels. There's some really good scenes. Like Kanan's death. Oh my gosh, it's played so well. Thrawn, dude. And then you have like the Loth Wolves are really cool. You have the Maul and Ezra stuff that's the only time I really like Ezra is when he's with Maul. I think that's the best version of that character. And then you have, again, Twilight of the Apprentice, the duel with Maul and Obi-Wan. That I know it has nothing to do with the main Rebel cast. It's probably my favorite season aside from Kanan's death, or my favorite scene aside from Kanan's death is the duel with Maul and Obi-Wan. I love that. So because of those really, really high peaks, it brings the rest of it up just enough to make it in B tier. Hit me.
I put it in C tier because how many episodes do you think are good of Rebels? Honestly, give me because I'll also give you there's 10 really good episodes.
You'd say 10.
Think.
I know. I've thought this too.
Think.
I know. It's
because you talk about Vader. He's only in 3 episodes.
I know, but it's not just Vader.
And you talk about Ahsoka, she's only in a couple.
But it's that 3rd and 4th season, though. I think most of the episodes in the 3rd season are really good.
Yeah.
I think most of the episodes in the 4th season are really good.
Yeah.
Except for there's a weird episode toward the end about Hondo and that weird crime lord guy that I don't think is very good.
Yeah.
But that's 13 episodes. Fine, knock off 1. Heck, we'll be generous. Let's just say it's 10. Okay. 10 out of the 13 episodes, season 4. I think those pop pretty nice.
Yeah.
Season 13, that's 22 episodes. At least half of those.
Okay.
At least half.
Okay.
Because I would say more than that because I really like season 3. And then going back to I'd say season 1, you have maybe 1 or 2. I like when Ezra gets his lightsaber crystal.
Yeah.
There's a lot in season 2, like when they go back to the Lothal's temple.
Mm-hmm.
I like that scene where they're trying to talk to Yoda. Twilight of the Apprentice is really good. I would say overall, probably about half, maybe just a little under half, are really, really good.
Okay.
That's what I would give you.
That's fine. We can leave it there, but I just because you're very passionate about it. But I was gonna say I put it in C tier because
you can give me your argument.
No, that's it. Is I think that there's when Rebels hits, it hits, but I think a lot of those are really are episodes that are around each other. This little arc is awesome, and that's 3 episodes, and then that's it. Yeah. Again, Vader's not in Rebels very much, and Ahsoka's not in Rebels very much.
And it's not about Vader. I'm just saying he elevates what's in there.
He helps. I was gonna say again, it's just pulling it more to the story, and I think that when you use legacy characters as tools like that, it's helpful, especially Well, but my whole thing is as you said, I think that most of the first season's trash. I think most of the second season is trash, except for the beginning and the end.
He's come out swinging.
I'm being real. I'm because I gotta think about this because the whole thing is if you look at my list, I tried to keep it pretty even across the board.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just front load or back load anything.
No, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I have to really sit and think about this stuff.
No, I did.
And again,
yeah, I get it.
I'm going with the law of averages, where again, more of it sucks, in my opinion, than it actually is good.
No, I would.
So, yeah.
Before,
but
my
I'll give you
rewatch-
low B tier.
Yeah,
I'm not giving you high B tier.
No, I'd agree.
You put it back there. Yeah, that's fine.
I would before
Because I know you're very
rewatched-
passionate about it.
Well, before I rewatched, I would have agreed with you C tier. That's where I would have put it.
Yeah.
But when I rewatched, because I'd seen clips, I hadn't really seen. I'd seen season 1, I'd seen season 2, and then I had seen pretty much just clips of the rest of the show to get to know what happened. Because I was like, this show isn't for me.
Yeah.
Before Ahsoka, though, I'm like, I got to watch this. And actually watching season 3 and 4, I'm like, wow, okay, I missed out.
Yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah.
And it becomes a whole different show. So that's why it's hard, because like we're going to talk about Clone Wars at some point, obviously. And not to spoil that, but Clone Wars has some really bad arcs. Let's be real. Some rough ones. I don't think the arcs ever get as bad in Rebels as they do in Clone Wars. However, the arcs never get as good as Clone Wars either.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Rebels is a weird beast in that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So it averages out, in my opinion, in B, but I will agree, probably low B.
Okay.
All right, hit me. This is good. We're getting juices going. We're like, ooh, this one should be easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I have it at. I was gonna say I have it in my B tier. I mean, if we just look at laws of averages, there's only 6 episodes and 4 of them are good. So that everything with Dooku, like that. And then I was gonna say I like I do like that one episode where Ahsoka where she learns from Rex, or learns from Anakin about how she's gonna live through Order 66. So, but I thought the other two, like the one where she fights the apprentice or the Inquisitor, that was stupid. That where like she killed him with his own lightsaber. Or and he deflated like he was Merrick. And then, that's dumb. And then the one too where she's a baby, I was like, I don't care. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically all I gotta.
I have the exact same opinion.
Yeah,
like literally
it's good.
disagree.
It's better
with
than
nothing.
Rebels.
In my list,
You got to just go by. You have to go by averages. Where I'm like, you gotta look at all,
that's
and that's
where
what I would agree. I really tried to stick with that. Where it's like, sometimes that worked for shows where it's like, there's only one season. There's only especially with this one, it's gonna get pushed more. Because,
no, I would agree. Yeah. I think that there are definitely things in Rebels I like more than Tales of the Jedi. Yeah. But law of averages, I'm in agreement. Okay. 4 out of the 6 episodes are good. Yeah. The Count Dooku stuff, it's completely in agreement.
It's good stuff.
Moving on. Revenge of the Sith. I don't even really need to say anything. It goes right there. It goes right there, and it's not moving. I will argue. I'm a reasonable person.
Is this the hill you die on?
This is the hill I die on. And you know what? Here's why. I will tell a story. All right, and I will explain myself with this. That was not always my opinion. Okay. When I was a kid, this was my favorite movie. As I got older, I started to appreciate Star Wars more. Empire Strikes Back was my favorite Star Wars movie. I was like, this is very good. I was like, and hey, it's not a wild opinion. A lot of people have that opinion that ESB is the best Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
But in college, I had 2 friends that had never seen Star Wars. None of it. They knew nothing except for the I Am Your Father. That is all they knew. And so we decided, me and a couple of my other friends who had seen Star Wars, we were going to have a marathon at my house. And at this point, only TFA had come out, none of the other sequels. So we were going to marathon them in release order from A New Hope to TFA. Oh, well, I think we didn't end up watching TFA just because it would have been too long. And so we were just going to do the original 6. They came over. We made a bunch of snacks. It was like just a good party. Watched A New Hope, watched ESB, watched A Return of the Jedi. It was really cool because they didn't even know Luke and Leia were twins, so that was a big twist for them. And they were experiencing the whole thing. And watching people experience Star Wars, adults experience Star Wars for the first time, was really cool. And watching these movies in order like that.
So did you watch them in release order, or did you watch them in chronological?
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, so in release order.
Release order.
Okay, all right.
And then we got to A New Hope and all that. And of course, I had been inundated with the prequel hate. I started to believe it, over time. I saw none of that from them. Like one of those friends, unironically, Jar Jar was their favorite character. And I'm not kidding. She thought she thought he was hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's not my opinion, but
Yeah.
it was crazy to watch people experience that. And the other guy who was watching with us didn't know that Palpatine was the Emperor. That was a big twist for him.
Okay.
It was really
when
cool.
When he put that together?
Yeah, in Revenge of the Sith. When he put the hood up.
Yeah, okay.
When he starts getting burnt by his own lightning. You're like, oh my gosh. It was so cool to watch this. And when you, again, watch them like this all at once and build up to Revenge of the Sith, and you get the music and the spectacle and all of it up until that final moment and that final battle, dude, it hits so friggin' hard. And I remember sitting there watching it, seeing their faces, watching Anakin and Obi-Wan duel, this amazement of like, oh my gosh, like it looked like they were watching a Greek tragedy, and it skyrocketed past Empire Strikes Back for me at that moment. I was like, I love this movie. I appreciated it on an entirely new level that I never had before. S tier all the way. Cannot change my mind.
So I have it in S tier as well. I wrote on my notes right here, it's modern day Shakespeare.
Yes.
Yeah. And that, it is a tragedy. I also have that after 1 and 2 and like the controversy with them, George Lucas was like, fine, I'll cook if that's really what you want. And he threw everything at it, I think.
Yes.
Like top 3, if not the best lightsaber fight in all of the trilogy or all 9 films, the Star Wars saga. That, again, it's just the stuff that you get when you watch it a couple times through. Like the internet's a dumb thing now because like there's all kinds of stuff that people can just show you, like, oh, look at all these Easter eggs and stuff like that. But it's crazy, like that mirror between Anakin killing Dooku and then Mace Windu standing over Palpatine,
yes,
and how the lines line up, and it's like, maybe maybe Anakin didn't make the wrong decision in that situation because he's trying to fix the situation because he knew he made a mistake earlier in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just how you get the backstory on everything is pretty cool. And yeah, I will admit it doesn't always line up with their ages and stuff like that. Like there's some weird stuff with like them. Obi-Wan's very old the next time you see him, but oh my gosh. And then Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, and he even like Hayden picks up his game, I think, even from Attack of the Clones. Like just good stuff.
It is
all around.
It is. I've always said Revenge of the Sith is what George always was trying to do with Star Wars. And you may like that. You may prefer the original trilogy. That's fine. But I think in George's mind, I can't speak for the man, but this is the one he ended on. Yeah. And I think he nailed it, man. It is. There's not
what a way to go out, as you said, that it's like this final movie, where they're like, just
there's not a boring part in that movie. Like this other stuff we've talked about peaks, we've talked about valleys, and this is not a joke. There is no valley in this movie for me.
It's pretty. I was gonna say the one thing that it does, a lot of action. The movie moves. Yeah, it really does.
But when it does settle down,
like
Anakin standing in the Jedi Temple in the council room.
Yeah.
Crying and looking out, and Padme, and the music swelling. And and John Williams is like, it was like he was doing it like it was his last score.
It's true. And I even like that whole, even the use of light with stuff like that, with like when Obi-Wan's leaving to go to Utapau and Anakin's standing in the shadow.
Darkness,
yes. And then the whole like, right before he leaves to Mustafar, Padme's like, what are you going to do? And he goes and he steps into the shadows and he goes, I will not betray the Republic. And it's just that use where it's like, dude, there is more going on that screen than what people realize. It's really frustrating when people are all like,
I know.
They're just like, George Lucas, blah, blah, blah.
I get so frustrated because I see people all the time. I'm trying not to talk about this for too long, but because I'm talking about this movie, whenever people praise the prequels, they praise someone else. They praise the VFX artists. They praise all these other guys. And you should do that. Those other people did a lot. I mean, a lot of people have made those movies, but they only want to talk about George when they find something they don't like.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very frustrating. It's like that man had such a vision. Like, yes, the actors having to act on those green screens, man, what a feat. But you know who had to think about all that too? George did. He is a visionary director. You may not like some of the stuff he did. And again, the cheesy dialogue and stuff like that, that is part of the DNA. He wrote it like that for a reason. You may not like it, that's fine, but it was his intention.
Yeah.
And I think it works so well here. Yes, I would agree. Maybe in Attack of the Clones, it is hammed up a little too much, but I think he found a balance in Revenge of the Sith of where that Shakespearean-esque dialogue does work really, really well. And man, he nails it there.
It's modern
he
tragedy.
really nails it. It's my favorite Star Wars movie by far. I have so many cherished memories from several points in my life of this movie. And I love it. I love it.
S tier. Okay, move
S
on to the
tier.
next one.
You're up.
Oh, I'm up.
Oh, we're going right from that to this.
Dang.
Okay. Okay.
Dang.
What'd you pull, Seth?
Dang. Pulled The Last Jedi.
Episode 8.
Episode 8. The Last Jedi.
You get a little teaser for when we go deep onto these.
It's a really pretty movie. I like a third of this movie, and so I have to go law of averages.
You're taking the compliment sandwich route. All right.
Yeah. I have to put it there because I like a third of it. I think the rest of it is a little offensive to the audience. I will admit that I think
it's in D tier, by the way, for those who can't see.
Yeah, that I think it's frustrating that I don't care about ships getting low on gas. I don't care about people, rich people getting their comeuppance. Like I don't care about new characters undermining the other new characters that I just learned about in the last movie. Like it's frustrating. Like there's a lot of frustrating things, but again, it's a pretty movie. There are some good moments in this movie. A lot of them involve Kylo Ren. Yes. A lot of them involve Snoke. Like that. I like a lot of those scenes, but at the same time, it's really frustrating. And I'll tell you what. I sat in line for over 24 hours waiting for the preview of this movie at Celebration. I even got to see Rian Johnson. He walked past me. My wife got a card autographed for me by him. Like he was right there and everything. I have very fond memories of the hype for this movie.
Yes. Like
how you were saying with Revenge of the Sith. But all in all, I just think the movie's fine. But like it's less than fine. That's what I think is like again, it's a pretty movie. I just wish that I think he honestly wrote himself into a corner. And I think he did it on purpose. I don't know why he chose to do that, especially when he knew that he was only doing one of them. But it's odd the choices he makes because I think that he derails everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's, again, I get where he's coming to with a lot of his choices. I understand, but I don't think that he flushed out all those ideas. So yeah, there we go.
Look, guys, we like to be positive on this show. We like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And I've certainly got one about this movie. Like you, I had a lot of hype for this movie. I remember watching Force Awakens being like, gosh, I can't freaking wait for the next one. Because I love Luke Skywalker and this. I really liked all the stuff that they were doing with these other characters. I'm like, man, I cannot wait. It was a great time to be a Star Wars fan post TFA. And I remember me and my wife and a bunch of friends from college went to Chick-fil-A right before watching this movie. We're all buzzing about it. What's going to happen? And we got in a big line to the theater. We walked in. I remember watching it. And the whole time, I remember watching the movie being like, okay, we're going to get to the good stuff soon, right? Because I'm like, surely. Like at this time, my mind could not process the fact that there could not be a good Star Wars movie. Because I like TFA, spoiler alert. And then I left the movie theater. And I remember going home and I was like, I like that. I like that movie. Yeah, yeah. And I just went to sleep on the couch. And this movie bummed me out hard. I know that sounds stupid because it's a movie, but
no, but here you can. Okay, I think that's silly when people bring stuff up like that because people get upset all the time when their team doesn't win.
Yeah,
this is our version of that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll admit when Star Wars isn't hitting on television, or it's like I wake up early and I watch just like it's an okay episode. Oh man, I'm kind of bummed for the week.
Yeah.
Just like how your team doesn't do very well on the during the sports ball on Sunday. Yeah. That kind of bums you out.
Yeah. Well, this
so like I get that.
This went beyond to me just not being very good, like what you said. It was beyond that. I remember a specific moment during the movie where it was when Luke gets bombarded with all of the by all the AT-ATs, right? And I was like, they're not gonna kill him, right? And then he didn't die, and I was like, but then they did.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, what? Because I remember talking to my friends about this movie. I'm like, Luke's not going to die in this movie. There's no way. They killed Han Solo in the previous movie. Like, and then there was the issues with
Carrie Fisher.
I'm like, there's just no way they're killing off another major character like this. There's not going to do that. And then they did. I was like, and this movie just feels like, it just feels like an edgy reconstruction of Star Wars. And it frustrates me so much because I'm going to take it a step forward. It's an arrogant reconstruction of Star Wars. I think Rian Johnson is an incredible director. I think he's made some incredible movies. He's directed the greatest episode of television of all time, in my opinion, in Breaking Bad, Ozymandias. He is a tremendous director. I do not like his writing at all. I think that he took the character, and there are things I like in this movie. I actually like the characterization of Luke Skywalker for the most part. That's not one of the issues I have with this movie. But it just feels like at every turn, he decided to take something that the audience was excited about and flip it on its head for the sake of it. Oh, you were excited about Rey handing him the lightsaber? I hate that moment. I really hate that moment because it could, if you wanted to play it like, oh man, this is bringing back such horrible memories, and I'm past this. I threw away my weapon in Return of the Jedi. I don't need this. Okay, play it like that. Don't play it as a gag. Don't play it as a joke. There's so much of that in this movie, like the your mama joke in the beginning, with Poe, and like you said, I don't care about most of what happens in this movie. And it's a really. One day we will, because I'm trying to stop myself from going deep because I would love to continue talking about it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that is what it feels like to me, is just an arrogant reconstruction of the movie. If you really want to know why I say that, watch the documentary about this movie, The Director and the Jedi. The fact that it's even called that annoys me. I watched that when this came out on Blu-ray because I was still trying to convince myself that I liked this movie, and I watched that documentary. It made me hate this movie. Not the movie itself. It was that documentary because the arrogance on display and seeing Mark Hamill get treated the way he did on set, and they're playing it off in this documentary like, oh, Mark, go take a seat, he'll get over it. And I'm like, why would you? It blows my mind. Yeah. But to finish the compliment sandwich, there are things in this movie I love. And it frustrates me because there are some moments in here that I would actually put in like top 10 moments in the whole saga.
Yeah.
That showdown with Force projection Luke and Kylo Ren.
It's pretty sick.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
That is a true understanding of a Jedi, a passive, your weapons, you do not need them. All of that is right there in display. It's awesome. It's good. The Yoda scene, the Force Ghost Yoda. Oh my gosh. The Force Skype calls. It's so good.
Yeah.
The darkness rises and the light to meet it. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But man, the rest of what happens in this movie. And again, I could go on and on, but I'm going to leave it at that. I have it in the exact same spot.
Okay. That's fine.
I considered F, but I don't think it's irredeemable.
No, that's silly.
I don't think it's irredeemable.
No.
But I do think it does undermine a lot of, and it's not, I want to be clear, it doesn't undermine Luke's character arc. I think that I think there is some weird stuff, but like, why is he so mean to Rey? I don't think he would do that. I get why he runs away, and I get all of that, but yeah, man. Let's get an easier one. We got two back-to-back passionate ones.
Yes, it's tough.
Okay. The Clone Wars movie from 2008. So I'm trying to remember where I had this. It's bottom seats here. There's really not much to say about this. It's fine.
This movie's poopy, really. I would It's
fine.
it's the very bottom of the C tier.
Yeah, that's what I have it.
Okay,
Very
that's
bottom of the
fine,
seat,
I
because
guess.
it's not offensive. That's the only reason I don't have it.
Okay, I was gonna say it's fine, but I mean, it's a lot of what makes the Clone Wars bad.
Yeah.
That is the problem. Is this is the genesis of all of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I think I put it here to, I'm not gonna lie, a little bit of nostalgia, because I've talked about it before. My mama brought me to see this movie.
Yeah.
I remember, and it was so fun. What do we got? We got another hot one. Oh, A New Hope. Okay.
Yeah, this is the one that.
This is easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I'm actually curious where you're gonna put this,
Really. Why?
because I don't know where you're gonna put this.
Okay.
I mean, there's only 2 options, really.
I was gonna say that, like, so.
Oh, he's whipping up the.
I wrote a couple notes down about some of them that I was like, I mean, this is what started it all.
Yep.
It is like how I said that, like, Revenge of the Sith is modern Shakespeare. This is literally a modern fairy tale. And I am going here.
Oh.
Nest here.
Oh, really?
I think it belongs up there.
Okay.
I think that just, I mean, again, it's the one that started it all.
Yep.
I think it's beautiful. The older I get, the more I just appreciate those quiet moments. Like,
Yep.
I just like, I don't even, this is going to just sound so like, okay, Seth, but like, I get like a little teary eyed during the whole scene where, you know, a little, and then like, you know, where it's like, Obi-Wan, happy to see you. And it's like, you know, brings you out here, you know, the, droid never, and then like he says his name and then he like, you know, Obi-Wan, that music hits and like crescendos. It's just beautiful. And it's just like, or I'm just like, this is, it's just amazing how like, how Sam Witwer, I think, put it best, where it's like, the dude, George Lucas is just throwing us all this stuff, but he's not bogging us down. You know, your father and I fought in the Clone Wars. What's that? I don't worry about it. Like, but yeah, but it's like, you know, like, I think it's kind of beautifully written. And then too, just the whole, like, you know, they go to the castle, they rescue the princess, they save the day. The bad guy does get away, but that can be for another movie. But like, it ends on such a good note and such a happy note. And it's just like, I don't know, like, and two, that like, just when you really break it down, it's crazy that like, here I am mocking Phantom Menace, that like, we don't meet our main character until like, you know, 30 minutes into it. Well, this movie kind of it does the same thing, but like, it works here for some reason. Like, we follow R2 and 3PO around for like 20 minutes before we finally meet Luke, and it just somehow works. And gosh darn it, there you go. You got one guy that talks, the other one just talks and boops and beeps, and gosh darn it, it works. Like, people love that it just, yeah, I mean, yeah, it belongs there. I was going to say, I mean, you know,
I'm
got all those archetypes.
I'm with you in that. The older I get, the more I appreciate this movie. I think that it's the only movie that works on its own. You can take everything else out and it works.
It works.
It's George started here and ended here, and I think he started and ended on some bangers. Like, here is this brilliant. I always use this word mythic to describe ROTS. This is just, like you said, it's a fairy tale.
Yeah,
it's beautiful in that way. The world building is immaculate, but it is so effortlessly done that, like you said, it's not. You're not bogged down.
No.
Like Dune, for example, which is funny because he took a lot of the ideas from Dune.
Yeah.
But when I was watching Dune, I'm watching that like, what did he say? Like, what was this? What was this? Like, I don't know, but it works in A New Hope. It's so effortless, and it's a relaxing kind of movie. You're like watching, like, oh yeah, the Death Star. Oh yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi, but beyond the Dune Sea.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's really cool in that way.
Yeah.
I personally had it at the highest A tier, but I would agree with your S. The only reason I had it in A is because I think that the quality of filmmaking goes up drastically in ESB.
It does.
Like the audio mainly. Like, you can tell that they bought some new mics and But I'm perfectly okay with S. I think that argument is perfectly sound.
Yeah. I mean, it's the one that started it all. I think it belongs there. It's too that, like, you know, when you just like, you know, how many people have been or how many characters have been inspired by Han Solo?
Yeah.
How, like, I mean,
or Luke Skywalker, or Darth Vader,
Princess Leia. Like, I mean, like, it's just, oh my gosh.
It is the template.
It is insane.
It's a beautiful movie. It really is. It's just, it's timeless. It works on its own. I mean, you can show this to anybody, you know, and they can start to appreciate it and fall in love with the saga. And it all starts here. This is how I fell in love with the saga. Like, even though I wasn't around for the OT era, like, I'm not as part of that generation. Mm-hmm. I've told this story before, but when my great-grandfather was in the hospital, my mom and I stayed for many days there, and they had an old VHS, an old CRT. in the back corner, and they had an old dusty VHS of A New Hope. And I'd seen Star Wars before, but didn't care. And I'd never seen A New Hope, though. Popped that in, and I was like, wow. And I was like, I don't know, might have been like 8 years old, something like that.
I'll admit, this was the one when I was a kid. I thought it was the most boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot happens in it. Because, I mean, I was lucky. I fall into that group of kids. I got to see the special edition in the theater. Because they showed them all, I think, a year before Phantom Menace came out. And so got to go to Pizza Hut, get my posters. Because all year long, it was like in like May, they showed A New Hope. Then in like June, they showed Yeah. So just...
I actually, after I did watch the movies whenever I would rewatch them, A New Hope was always my least favorite.
Yeah.
But as I get older, man, it's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And we're getting all the heavy hitters out.
Yeah.
Whew. Talk about heavy hitters. Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're the heaviest of hitters. Okay, I lied. This one, right just above Revenge of the Sith on the S tier.
You should stop lying to yourself now.
No, it's not S tier, guys. I'm just kidding. But
I'm just curious where you put this at. I want to know.
I give this a lot of thought.
Yeah, I am really curious where you put this at, especially using law of averages.
Even given the law of averages, because I did think about this a lot, and this is one of those weird things, okay, where you kind of get, when you're in the Star Wars fandom ethos and you hear like the fandom and all this stuff.
There's a lot of echo chambers here.
The rabbles.
Yes.
You can be convinced of opinions you don't really have, you know?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I've rewatched this several times, and I'm like, no, I have to like upload antivirus in my mind and be like, no, I do have this opinion. I'm not letting other people convince me otherwise. Like, I like this show. It's so weird to say that, but like, I see it all the time where I'm like, man, are they right? Is this bad? But I rewatch it. I'm like, no, I like it. Dang it. And I'm going to put it in A tier because I like it. And here's why. Law of averages. Yes, there's some not perfect stuff in this show, but I don't think there's a lot of not perfect stuff in the show. Episode 1, 2, I think are great. I don't know why you're scowling at me.
I'm just listening. Great. I'm just taking it all in.
I like episode 1 and 2 a lot. I think my biggest issue with the first 2 episodes is I do not like how the first episode opens. I don't like how it opens with Reva because ultimately her part in the story is not as important as Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's. It should not start with her. But the rest of what happens, I love the setup for Obi-Wan's depression and like the flashbacks. Yes, the flashbacks could have been actual film scenes and stuff. Okay, but it works. I like it. And then episode 2, I like that they go to forget what the planet's called.
Like Nalhada or whatever. Yeah.
Whatever that, like Vegas in space, whatever that is. Yeah. That's really cool to me. Episode 3, that slaps. That was awesome. Whatever, man. I liked it. Where him and Vader fight, and when Vader walks in that town for the first time and he rips that kid out and he freaking snaps the kid's neck. Man, what the heck? They went hard on that episode for no reason. And just, man, episode 4, my least favorite of the show. But I still think it's cool. Obi-Wan's getting his mojo back. He's going through that through Fortress Inquisitorius. I like that stuff. Episode 5 freaking slaps. I don't care what you say. That flashback, the way that they used it, like Obi-Wan and Anakin are both remembering it at the same time, and Vader ripping down the ship and him fighting Reva and stuff. That's super cool. And then episode 6, man, the Return of the King ending where you have like 10 endings. That, first of all, the one with Vader and Obi-Wan, that's awesome. Then you have the one with Leia and Obi-Wan. That kind of gets me a little bit. Her, like you have John Williams music playing, and you have Obi-Wan talking about Anakin and Padme, finally telling her a little bit about her parents. And then you get the stuff with Qui-Gon Jinn. Now, yes, there is some negative stuff. I don't love everything with Reva. I think she's kind of a wasted opportunity. I don't like how her arc ends. I don't like that she's redeemed. She should have stayed bad. I don't like that. I think that she has some moments that kind of undermine, but I don't want to say undermine because it doesn't really undermine, but I don't love everything with that character. But overall, I think the show kind of slaps. The only thing I will really knock against it from a production standpoint is that I don't like what they did with the lightsabers, that they use those as a primary source of light. Just because I don't think that the filmmakers understood that digital cameras don't work that way. Like film cameras, you can't do that. I'm not going to get into the science of that, but like that doesn't work, and you can see it in the show. But overall, man, I'm not saying it's high A tier, but I'm saying it's A tier. I like it a lot. Hit me. Go ahead.
I'm just using law of averages. I think 2 of the episodes are good.
2?
2.
2 of
and
the
even those are rough.
What do you
I'm just
mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean?
Dude, there's just weird stuff that happens for convenience in this show.
Like what?
Well, okay, all right. Her talking to Owen in the first episode, then she's like, "Hey, we're gonna kill some people," and then what she do? She Jedi. She can read minds in the next episode. Why did she just read his mind? Show would have been over. Oh, that's why it didn't. And so don't write the show like that.
Yeah,
that's the problem,
Reva
Konnor.
is the worst part of the show.
No, but that's the whole thing is that like Obi-Wan and Vader kind of take back seats to other characters in this show. A show called Obi-Wan.
At points.
Leia should not have been a thing for that much of time of the show. She is in it for the whole time. Oh my gosh. That it's like the fact that like Vader was that close to her. Give me a break.
What do you mean? Oh yeah, and
they had her. Come on, Konnor. It's offensive to Star Wars, in my opinion.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
When this show was announced,
Yes, this should have been the greatest thing. Actually, this should have just been the best Star Wars movie ever made in the Disney era. And you know what? We got a subpar television show out of it.
Okay, when this show was announced,
yeah.
I remember.
You were pumped. You were pumped.
I know.
was pumped.
What I
we were all pumped.
What I was gonna say is that
I'm just being real with you.
I get it. I don't like the Reva stuff.
It's not even just the Reva stuff. It's all the other stuff that like everything's
like the Leia
bogged
stuff.
down.
I think that
she's bogged down.
Leia is the only thing.
They take the back seat, both of them, in their own show to other characters. It's silly.
I disagree. I think that Leia, when this show was announced, I remember the concept art being revealed, and people were like, "Why would
fighting
Obi-Wan
on Mustafar?"
It wasn't Mustafar.
Whatever, a fire planet.
But people were like, "Well, why would Obi-Wan ever leave?" And I remember trying to theorize, and I'm like, the only thing that makes sense is Leia. And then that happened, and I was like, I knew it. It's the only thing that makes sense.
But then who kidnaps her? Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they don't even make him they make him a human. They don't even make him an alien from Star Wars. That's the other thing that's annoying about Disney.
That's because the Emperor is racist.
No, but he's not even like. No, come on.
That's a thing.
No, I know it is. He's xenophobic. That's why Thrawn was in the Outer Rim. I've read the book. It's like, but come on. No, you've got to knock that down. I know that you like that. I put it in D tier. Read and weep, baby.
No way.
Yeah, I did. So you got to put it down.
No way you put that in D tier.
I did. Read it and weep, baby.
No
it's
way
right
you
there.
put it in D tier.
I did. I think it's offensive.
Oh my
but
God.
But not so. I'm just letting you know. You got to knock it down.
Way.
Bring it down. It doesn't have to be in D tier, but you bring it down.
Oh, I'm gonna need a minute.
Yeah, you take a minute.
D tier?
I'm just letting you know.
I thought you'd put it in like maybe low B.
Oh, come on. Like I told you. I told you.
Whoa. Okay.
Konnor, it's stuff like this. Like we've talked about this where it's the whole like, no, we'll let the rebellion escape. Kenobi's the only thing that matters. Send some TIE fighters after them. I get it that it's a young Darth Vader.
Yes,
someone undermine the man. Someone undermine
Darth Vader
to get the man, to get the rebellion.
Back up. You're telling me
it's happened.
You're telling me
happened.
That on Vader's ship, when he is overcome with hatred of going after Obi-Wan,
you don't even think
you wait a minute. I'm going after Obi-Wan Kenobi. That someone on that ship should have undermined Darth Vader to go after the rebellion. That's what you're saying?
Hey, it happens in the comics, and it works.
They die.
They don't always die. Eventually they do.
Brother, he is going after Obi-Wan.
That
man does not care.
And then what ends up happening? He gets schooled, and then Obi-Wan flies off the planet.
Character flaws are not writing flaws.
No. And then he flies off the planet, and then what does the Empire do? There is a Death Star or a Star Destroyer monitoring that planet. And then what's it do? Just lets him go.
Or when Vader came down, did the shuttle continue flying after the rebellion? No. I mean, Vader's shuttle has light speed capabilities, does it not?
Yeah. What do you mean? No, we're talking about a Star Destroyer. I'm like, why didn't they just send like a legion of TIE fighters after
I know,
it?
but I'm saying that when he leaves.
Yeah.
We will have this Kenobi talk another day.
That's fine.
But we're getting too deep into this.
That is it. There you go. You got to knock that down. Law of averages. It's low B tier. Hate to break it to you.
God.
That's how it has to be.
I can't.
Law of averages.
I can't believe you put it in D.
It's where it belongs.
I can't believe you put it in D. This hurts.
Well, at least it's not going to C.
This hurts.
At least it's not in C, friend. No. Averages.
No.
There it is.
Oh, that hurts so bad. You suck. Take the freaking
Oh, I
mug.
suck. I suck. Oh, woe is me. I'm the worst.
I can't believe D tier.
D tier.
Wow. What do we got? Is it an easy one? Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, it's at the top of the D.
Top of the D.
Top of the
tier.
D. I really like. So man, he's working. Or I could put it at the bottom of the C. One of those two. I don't know where you have it, but my whole thing is that there's some really, again, like Last Jedi. There's some really cool scenes in this movie, but just a couple of cool scenes. I love Babu Frick.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, you need to let this go. Let's just take a sec, let it go, because I can tell you're still mad at me. You're still mad. Like, just
talk about trust. I'll calm down. Just talk about trust.
All right. Okay. Cool. I love the opening of this movie. Every time I watch the opening of this movie, all the way up to when they get to Palpatine, heck, even to when we first meet Rey, see her like floating the rocks and stuff. I'm like, maybe I was wrong about this, but then it quickly plummets after that. But I like all of that. I think that how we talk about that we like third acts. I hate the third act of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think it really works well in the middle of the movie. Yeah. I really like that scene where they're force Skyping with each other and
they fight.
And the camera is like shifting around them as they're walking past different things
sick.
I just don't understand a lot of the characters' motivation in this movie. I think that's what really hurts it, because I think that, like, again, we've heard stories of Adam Driver recording stuff in closets over the phone, that it's like, dude, they were like writing this by the seat of their pants, even in post. And you and I both know you shouldn't be doing that. It's rough. And I want to like it, but it's hard to like. There's great moments. Mm-hmm. Again, like Last Jedi, Kylo Ren's the best part. All the best scenes are with him in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say the scene of Ben Solo talking to Han Solo. Kind of makes me cry. Like I get a little tear. That just like the whole like, Dad, and it's like, I know.
Yeah.
And it's just a nice to carry. Like there's some really good stuff. But then there's a lot of garbage.
I actually hope they do a special editions of the sequels.
Yeah.
I would love that. Yeah. I think that this movie, more than any of them, needs
to get helped. Yeah.
Yes. This movie is a weird beast for me. This is a really weird movie for me. I remember this was another one leading up to the release. I was like, it can't be bad. It can't be. There's no way ending the Skywalker saga can be bad. There's just no way. It just can't. I was naive. It was a naive time for me. And I remember I'm bad with recency bias when it comes to Star Wars. Like, I imagine my opinions on Ahsoka will change. I really like it right now, but maybe it'll fall a little bit. I don't know.
As other things come out.
But my opinion on this hasn't changed in a year. Anyway, so this one, though.
It's just a show.
Yeah, I know. But this movie, I put it, this is going to be crazy. It sounds sacrilegious to me. I put it as like number 4 after I watched it. Yeah. Because here's my reason.
Wait a minute, what?
I know.
Like in all of them?
I know, it's crazy. I know. This was me huffing the copium at the time, okay?
Oh, when it came out. Okay.
Not now.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's why I'm confused over here.
No.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, because this is what I thought of. I'm like, on paper, like if you gave me the script for this movie, I kind of like this movie.
Yeah.
I kind of like a lot with what's going on.
Yeah.
Watching it though, it is so clear the production. Like this movie has more one takes than any other Star Wars movie. For those of you who don't know, who aren't familiar with filmmaking, a one take is just exactly what it sounds. It's a one shot scene. There are so many of those in here. And the only reason you would do that in a movie like this is to save time.
Yeah.
And there's so many, now they're relatively well done. I don't have an issue with it. It's just, there's so many little things like that though. And the editing is breakneck pace. Like in that, I remember in the one of the opening scenes, you get those visions and they flash. If you pause, there's some good stuff in there that you just don't see.
Yeah.
There's like Rey sitting on the throne and all that stuff. You just don't see that.
Yeah.
It's like, what? It's so weird. It's weird. To me, the most offensive thing about this movie is the fact that the Emperor Palpatine coming back happens in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite. Like, I
Yeah.
cannot get over
Oh,
that.
the actual, like, his return.
Yes, like
Yes.
like Ian McDermott recorded lines, and that's in Fortnite, not
And
in this
the movie. Yeah, and it's actually pretty cool sounding.
I know.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah.
That absolutely blows. Because look, Palpatine returning, I can get behind it. Like,
Yeah.
again, on paper, I can get behind it.
Yeah.
Execution, though, like another little thing, like when they're in the novelization, and I guess in the script, when Kylo Ren shows up, he's like, he's supposed to say, "You're a clone," and Palpatine says, more than a clone, less than a man. That's a good line. Why was that cut? It would have been so clarifying.
Yeah.
And it's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
It's
and
just.
I will say too that if you read any of the novelizations of any of the movies, solid stuff actually.
Yeah,
it's
no,
kind of
it's
wild.
good.
Yeah,
and
that I
this
was going to say.
novelization's not bad. And
Yeah,
then another
exactly.
weird thing at the very end, why no Force ghosts during the scene?
Yeah, I know.
I've seen edits of that, and it's so good. It would not undermine Rey as a character.
No, just to have a little bit
because
of help.
that's what's happening anyway. The movie conveys that to you.
Yeah.
And I've heard the rumors that is what they filmed, and maybe that's true. I don't know, but either way, it's a weird movie for me.
Yeah.
But there's stuff that I love, regardless of how it all came about. Ian McDermott acts his butt off in this movie.
He's cool. He's really scary in that opening scene.
Yes, and that line where he's like, "The Jedi are dead."
Yeah.
That is an all-timer for me for Palpatine. I love that line.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, this is one of those things where it's like, for every good moment, there's a bad moment that kind of kills it for me.
Yeah.
Like, I love that Ben and Rey are the ones fighting Palpatine, but then he throws Ben down a hole.
And then that's it.
Then,
it's stupid.
Why though?
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
know.
just, it's so weird. It's like stuff
What's
like
that big robotic thing he's attached to? Like, what is that actually attached to up there? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
it's little
it's weird.
things.
Yeah,
Man. It's like
weird.
So I personally, just because there's enough of it that I do like, I have it above the Clone Wars movie.
Wow. Okay.
Just because I try to think, what would I prefer watching?
Okay.
Honestly, I'd prefer watching this one.
Okay.
So I have it here, but
Okay.
I mean, not by much.
Okay.
What do you think? You agree with
That's
that?
fine with it. I'm fine with that. I mean,
All
okay.
right.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Ahsoka. We just got done talking about this. I bet we'll probably agree on this. Again, law of averages. I mean, I got this in low A.
I have it in low A as well.
So
yeah,
I think I had it below Kenobi, but
go back and watch our first 8 episodes.
I know. Go back and watch our first 8 episodes for a deep dive on that, or first 7 rather.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already talked about it extensively.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's solid.
Huang, Balin, I'm here for it.
Yep.
Ahsoka, she comes around.
Love.
Yeah.
I mean, Anakin Force Ghost stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
World Between Worlds.
Thrawn.
It's all fun.
It's all great. Love it. I love what it sets up for
good.
Star Wars.
Yep. It's all good.
What'd you pull? You got to keep it talking for our Spotify listeners.
Oh, this is true. It is a little something called Return of the Jedi.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Here's my chance to break down Seth.
It's fine. You can. I mean, I'm going to say this, that like, I will admit the first half an hour is a little rough because it doesn't really pertain to anything. It's just getting Han Solo back. But you know what? I'm here for it. I love it. Because you know why? It's the first time we technically get to see a Jedi fight. In like when you watch it in like chronological order. And I don't care. Don't split hairs with me. He's a Jedi. And he's there. He's trying to rescue his friends. And it is awesome. And then the ending with Palpatine is perfection. My favorite lightsaber fight in all of Star Wars is in that scene. I think that I think honestly, I mean, a lot of people give this movie flack because of the puppets and the Muppets and all that. But you know what? I love it. I am going to put it in S tier, and I think I would put it on the other side of Revenge of the Sith. I would put it is my favorite Star Wars film. I think that Revenge of the Sith is just under it.
You'd put it right here.
I would. That is where I would put it because, again, I love the world building that it does. I love that. I think that it's just. I mean, there's just like it's a culmination of everything that the other two build up to.
Mm.
I think it's just beautifully done. It's fine. I know you didn't put it in D tier, so you can't knock it down that far.
You don't think I put this in D tier?
Why would you put Return of the Jedi in D tier?
I put it in F tier.
Get out of town.
No, I love Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
There's some days it's my favorite of the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I personally have it at the very tippity top of A tier,
Interesting.
only because I think that these, spoiling where I'm going to have that movie, I guess. Um, I think ESB and A New Hope edge it out in a
Interesting.
lot of ways. But on the other hand, again, we're talking about our law of averages, our peaks and valleys. I think the end of that movie is probably my favorite of the original trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
it's my favorite scene. I love the scene on the Death Star.
Yeah.
Stuff with Luke, the stuff with Vader, the stuff with Palpatine, the music. I mean, it's firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
There are days you could ask me, and that is my favorite lightsaber duel as well. It's either between that or it's between Anakin and Obi-Wan. I love that scene. Jedi's Fury is one of my favorite tracks in all of Star Wars. I love that musical score.
Mm-hmm.
The camera motion of, under the stairs.
Yeah.
Like, if you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
No. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And the end with the Force Ghost is so powerful. Vader's funeral. I love all of that.
Yeah.
I actually really like the opening of this movie too.
Yeah.
I love. We just talked about it last week. Like the Force choking of the guards. Like,
Yeah.
what's Luke up to? Is he evil now? What's happening?
Yeah.
But it's the middle chunk of the movie for me. It drags for a little too long.
See, I think it flies a little bit.
Really?
I mean, because as soon as Jabba the Hutt's done, they have a quick little meeting and then they're on Endor.
I think it's because
You don't like Ewoks. That's
No,
what it
no,
is.
it's not
Yup,
Ewoks.
He doesn't like Ewoks.
you've allowed the Ewoks to twist your mind.
Younger.
It's actually, I think it's because I'm not a big Han Solo guy, and I think Han Solo.
He's easily the worst in this one.
He is easily the worst in this movie.
I think that
he's really phoning it in.
He is, and you could tell he's hamming it up bad.
But it's just that whole bit. But then as soon as Luke and Vader meet on the bridge, that's another one of my favorite scenes from the original trilogy, because you can tell Vader's broken after ESB. He's not the powerhouse that he was in ESB. He's like, man, I got a son. I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
That Obi-Wan once thought as you do. Man, that hit so hard.
Yeah.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
I love, there's all of that. But it's just the other movies are better for me. I gotta, so I would compromise with you and put it at the bottom of S tier.
That's fine.
For law of averages.
That's fine.
Or even above A New Hope.
Well, yeah, then I have to do that then.
I would compromise with you there.
Okay.
Because I think it's great. There are things that bring it a little below for me. All right, we got to be getting to some of the not so good stuff.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a skinny one. Ooh, actually, it surprised me. The Force Awakens. I'm actually curious where you're going to have this. I don't have a ton to say about this movie. This is the movie that kind of got me back into my Star Wars hype. Because I'd kind of fallen off to the wayside. But I remember seeing the trailer like everybody, the cross guard, all that stuff.
I remember my mom calling me about the cross guard.
Yeah?
Yeah. She straight up called me. She's like, we wanted to know. We saw it at work. Because, it was like a whole thing that and she was like, the ladies at work want to know what you think of it. It was a whole thing anyway. It's a great movie. I actually really like it. I think, it plays it a little safe. Yeah. It plays all the hits. Yeah. But I love the setup. I love Snoke. I love Kylo Ren. Yes, all the cast is great. So good.
They're very good. I love the ending to that movie, and I'm a little frustrated by the ending because the other movies make the ending not so fun. But at the time, man, that ending, and this was, to this day, I had my favorite theater experience was with this movie. I was watching in a packed theater, and it was when Rey and Finn and BB-8 are running in the beginning of the movie.
It's garbage.
Yeah, the garbage will do, and it pans and da-da-da, 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 da-da-da.
Yeah.
Because it genuinely surprised me. And I'm pretty good at predicting moments as I'm watching movies. Yeah. I just did not predict that at all. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't predict seeing the Falcon. And I was like, oh, okay. That was just really, I had such a genuine moment of excitement like seeing that. I love that. I put it decently high B tier. That's where I put it.
Wow. I put it in the A.
You put it A?
I put it in the A.
Really?
Yes.
Above Ahsoka?
Actually, I would put it above Ahsoka.
Really?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
That my whole thing is that like you, I remember getting done with this, and someone leaned over and was like, "What do we do?" And I go, "We watch it again tomorrow."
Yeah,
and that was exactly what we did. Is we went back to the theater, the same group of people, because I'm like, I got to see that again. That I don't like. I mean, it's easily the best one of the of the sequel trilogy. Again, it's this cast for me. That's the whole thing, is that like I think that they're all delightful. I think that like, and I think pretty good at least in this one, pretty good use of legacy characters.
Yes,
I remember.
I would
yes,
agree. I like the use, like the death of Han Solo. I think is well
I think
done.
it's extremely powerful. Like we were talking about, like I think that like unlike in this one, I think that like JJ got to flex his like directing skills. Like there's some fun camera work. There's some really fun
I would
like
agree.
yeah, that I like the whole when Starkiller Base is absorbing that star. And then finally, like as Han and Ben are both gripping the lightsaber,
yes, and the
then
light
red,
goes away.
it goes to red.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
good stuff.
It's good stuff, dude. That's come on.
Okay,
Can you?
okay.
Yeah.
This side.
Would you? What do you think?
To me, this is a better sequel to the original trilogy.
Well, but that's the whole thing. Is like this is so full of hope and everything that like
it is.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'll give it to you. I do like that movie. A lot.
Okay. Yeah.
It's hard to like this movie because of the other two.
I know, but I mean, we're not looking at it. We're looking.
I know.
At these in pockets.
It's just put it in a vacuum,
baby. Yeah.
I do like that movie a lot, though.
Yeah.
All right. What do we got next?
It's Resistance.
I've never seen it. So.
I was gonna say I've not watched enough of it, so that's why I put it at the bottom.
Let's just not an F tier, just haven't seen it.
Yep, I have not seen enough of it. The scenes I have seen also didn't really do much for me. I watched the ones that I think it's cool that Donald Faison's in there.
Solo's up next.
Ooh.
I'm going to rapid fire this one just because
we are probably going long.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a long one anyway. Yeah. But Solo, I like this movie. I remember watching this. It was right after TLJ, and I was kind of down on my luck with Star Wars for a little bit. Came out the following May. I watched it and I was like, huh. And I'm not a Han Solo fan, by the way. Well, I mean, I like him, but he's far from my favorite character. My only hot take with this movie is I think this is the best design for the Millennium Falcon. I really like it with the escape pod in it. Yeah. I love that design. I think it's so slick. I just think it's a fun movie to watch. I wish that they would have continued the story with either a sequel or a show or something. And I have it. Where do I have this one? I have it just because I can't do my boy like that. I have it here. It's fine. It's fun. It's just, there's nothing about it that's like, wow, but there's also nothing about it that it is like the definition of mid to me. So I guess I should go and see, but I could put it in C. There's an argument for that.
I have it in B.
Yeah. I mean,
fun fact.
What's your argument?
I mean, my whole thing is like, I thought this was an interesting, like, this was a turning point. This could have changed things. Unfortunately, we veered back the other way. That like, and I wish we would have committed to it more.
Yeah.
I mean, this also had a bunch of production trouble. I mean, more than half this movie was filmed and they redid it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, what those directors go and make? Spider-Verse. Yeah. So I just have a hard time believing.
Well, it was just because people were coming off of TLJ. They didn't want to support this movie.
I get that, but still, I mean, it just I would be really curious to see their version of this movie.
Yeah,
that's all I'm getting at. So anyway, I think that Lando's great in it. I think the only thing that's kind of hurting it is I think like it's pretty. That whole when they're stealing the coaxium, like that looks
a little
awesome.
Dark, but yeah.
No, that's one. The end is dark. I don't know why they chose that, but it is dark. Yeah. Yes, it is very, very dark. I think Lando's droid is obnoxious.
Yeah,
it's
L3.
A bit much. That's the whole thing. Is that's why I praised Huang so much. Is I'm like L3 just seemed so human rather than a droid, and it's like be a droid.
All right, let's rapid fire.
Okay, all right.
Hit me.
All right, yes, we're going a little we're going a little slow. We're gonna pick this up. Okay, so I got Book of Boba Fett. I think that it is. Let's see here. I mean, like I just think because the whole thing is like I like the back half of this show. I hate the front half of this show. But again, like Tales of the Jedi, I like more than half of it. Yeah, because there's 7 episodes of it, right?
Yeah,
there was 4 of them I liked. So there was 3 of them I kind of hated.
This is probably the last one I'm somewhat passionate about. I think this one goes.
Oh my goodness. That's got the best Mandalorian episode.
It does, but here's the thing.
It also has your boy.
Yes, I know.
And you're going to put it in the D.
I know.
You think it's offensive?
Yes.
Offensive?
I think it kind of ruined the Mandalorian a little bit.
Well, yeah, because of like behind the scene politics and stuff.
No.
No.
I mean the Grogu thing.
You don't think that was behind the scenes where they had to get him back in the show?
It still happened in the show, though.
I mean, I don't know. Okay.
It still happened in the show.
Okay.
I think, okay, look, the Boba Fett stuff, if you remove the 2 Mandalorian episodes, I guess it's C tier. It's whatever. It's got some, the best episode is just okay. If out of just the Boba Fett stuff. The Mandalorian episode, yeah, it's excellent. It's really good.
Yeah.
The Luke episode, I really like it. But it does actively undermine the Mandalorian because they just send Grogu back on an X-Wing at the finale.
Dumb. I know it's dumb.
I don't like that at all. It actually undermined the show for me. And so that's why it goes in D tier.
Okay.
Andor. This one actually surprised me where I put it on my ranking. Top of B. Look, I said this before. Andor is like a really good show cosplaying as Star Wars. But here's what it came down to for me. It's a really good show. It's got really good dialogue. But I looked forward to watching this every week because it was like, I couldn't wait to see what happened next. I had to know what happened next. And I can't really say that about a lot of these other shows. I felt like that with Ahsoka, but not really to the intensity that I did with Andor. But there was an element of it, because otherwise I'd put it in A tier. But the thing that brings it down, it doesn't really feel Star Wars-y. Like, yeah, you see a stormtrooper every now and again, and yeah, they're in space sometimes. But it's the most science fiction-y. And like we've said before, Star Wars is fantasy, and it goes away from that too much. But it's a brilliant show. It's brilliantly written. That Aldhani mission, that 3-episode arc, it's very good. It's really good. That first arc is okay, but man, it builds intensity. The One Way Out, builds some intensity. The finale, I actually can't remember what even happens with that, to be completely honest with you. How does that show end?
It ends with his mother.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. That's really good. But there's some weird stuff that I don't love. So, yeah, it's B tier. Hit me.
I hate this show.
You hate this show?
I hate this show.
Really?
I do.
I didn't know you hated this show.
This is the whole thing. Again, using the law of averages. I like the show when they're stealing at the beginning. That's the Aldhani mission, right? Is that where they go? Is that one?
That's the second arc. The first arc is like
sorry,
Cassian kills some people and then is on the run.
No, like the one where they go and they are that's the second arc. I like that part. Other than that,
you didn't like the prison?
It's good, but what about it is Star Wars? What about it's any of it? Like, that's my whole thing is like, to me, Star Wars is escapism. Andor's a lot like the real world. Yeah, Andor is super gray. Yeah. And you know what? I hate to break it to you. I just like my Star Wars to be kind of light and dark. I don't like gray characters are okay. Everybody is gray in Andor.
No, yeah, okay.
And I just, again, using the law of averages, I liked that one where they're stealing because that feels at least like Star Wars, where they're like, but then the rest, I don't like his girlfriend getting tortured. Like, I didn't like that at all. Like, using it's
just too intense for you. Too gritty.
Again, call me an old man, call me a baby, call me whatever you want. I hate that whole thing where the mom supposedly
said
recorded
F the Empire.
Yeah, I hate that.
I do too. I hate that too.
Star Wars has its own cussing. Like, why not just use one of those words? Like, we know, like, Dank Farrik. No, we got to put the S word in there. And that's just me. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I
get it.
I just, like, it just reminds me too much of the real world. Like, even their guns didn't even look that sci-fi-y. They just looked like, I mean, they looked like assault rifles. Like, and I'm just like, I don't want to get reminded about the real world. That's just me personally. I use this to escape. I kind of hate the show. Like, and I think that's why I hate this show.
So where do you have it?
I have it in the D tier because I don't want to watch it again. That's the whole thing. Okay. It's like, I'll watch the one. That scene is awesome where they hide from the TIE fighters during the comet chase. That's cool. That felt like Star Wars. But everything else, I just don't feel like that. It feels that much like Star Wars.
Wow,
that's just me. Again,
no, that's I can understand that. I don't personally. I agree with what you're saying. But
Maybe it's how I'm saying it. I don't know.
No. I agree with what you're saying completely. Just for me, that doesn't detract for the show. It's just for me that just makes it a different flavor.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing too. Is like it frustrates me when people are like, "This is peak Star Wars. This is what Star Wars always should have been." And I'm like,
yeah.
What does that? Hold on, sir. Where it's like, no, this is how Star Wars always should have been. That like the man made those. That it's like, and like, I just.
No, I get it. Like this is we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. Like people have weaponized their love for this show to hate everything else.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
It's
and
weird.
It's not like,
it's weird.
And here I am saying that I hate it, but I just don't. The other thing too is like it doesn't even help my love for Cassian Andor either. Yeah. I still don't like him.
It's hard to quantify, right? Because like what I'm hearing is that the reasons why you don't like it isn't because it's a bad show. It's because it's just not your thing.
It isn't my thing. And but. Yeah.
Which is different than it being bad.
No,
right?
I think it's a good show. I think it's well done. Is it a good Star Wars show, though?
Okay. This is hard to quantify for me because, like, all these other things we can, agree and find an average.
What I'm really curious about is if I'll like the second season.
Yeah.
I'm actually very curious.
So maybe, where do we put this? I'm
mid-C tier then?
Mid-C, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it has to go in that hole.
People are going to be upset about this.
I don't care.
This is the hottest take.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I knew that. Like this was the one I was scared about because I don't want to make anybody mad. That's the whole thing.
But it's your opinion.
It's
Everybody's
my opinion.
got their opinion.
Whatever.
It's okay.
At the end of the day, it's my opinion.
It's all right. It's all right.
It's fine.
That is the most surprising opinion from you. Not your placement, but your reason why. That's really interesting. I've not heard that before.
About what?
Like it reminds you too much of the real world and stuff.
Oh.
I think that's a really interesting opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, you're entitled to it. It's all right.
Yeah.
Moving on. Bad Batch. I'll give this short and sweet. I really like the Bad Batch. I was not expecting to like this show when it was announced because I'd watched it in season 7, their arc, and I was like, they're fine. I'll give it a shot. I really liked their first season quite a bit. Second season, I didn't like quite as much, but there were episodes in that second season that I adored. The Emperor Palpatine's speech about the Imperial Stormtrooper. Like, that's good. The
Cody?
Crosshair. Yes, the Crosshair and Cody episode.
Yeah.
Dude.
What about the Crosshair where he gets stationed out on that one in the Outer Rim?
The snow planet?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
What about Tech Sacrifice?
Yes. I know. It's like, there's moments.
Dude, we're like, there's not that many episodes in Bad Batch.
I know.
Though. That's the other thing. What about pod racing?
I know. Yeah. There's not that many valleys.
Yeah,
there's not many valleys.
There's a lot of good episodes.
I have this one in pretty high B.
That's where I have it. I have it in B tier.
Just because I don't think, like I said, I really love that first season. I think the first season did a great job. It did what Mando season 1 did. It didn't rely on everybody else. Like, yeah, there was a Rex that popped in and stuff, but I mean, they're clones, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of its own thing, its own contained story. I really liked it. And the second season built on that. I think I'm looking forward to the third season. I think it's going to be awesome.
The only thing I want to say that you didn't say was that Bad Batch took Mandalorian formula, only that there's 4 dads instead of 1.
Yeah, but it literally did.
It's literally it. And if it works, it works.
This is for you, BC Scrubs.
Oh my gosh, BC Scrubs. We are at Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars. And you know what? I don't care. I'm going to be bold. I don't really care. I think that, that is me. That is me. I put it at the bottom of S tier because guess what? This proved that Star Wars works in other mediums. This proves that Star Wars can work without John Williams. It can you can mess with the formula. If you mess with the formula too much, it doesn't work. But you can mess with the formula slightly in little pieces.
Well, this messed with the formula by also respecting what came before it.
Exactly, and that's the other thing. If you mess with the formula too much, it becomes a new thing. But you know what? This really works off the back of stuff, and it leads right into Revenge of the Sith.
It does.
It's so cool. I mean, dude, there's no low points because the whole first season they're only 3 minutes long, so they have to be snappy. Yeah.
You know what? It's been a while since I've watched this. I didn't watch the Clone Wars animated show, like the canon one, until way later. But I did watch this one when it was airing, and I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Where do you got it? You can tell me.
I had really high B.
All right. I think it's S tier just because.
I'd bring it down to A. I mean, I think that you make a good argument.
Okay.
I don't think it's up there with the greats, but I think I'd agree with A.
Yeah. I just think that it's really, it does what it does really well.
No, you make
if
a
that
good
makes
argument.
sense.
Yeah.
Like
I like that what you're saying. Like it could work in other mediums. It could. I mean, you had
Yeah.
like the Droids cartoon, right? But
yeah,
like,
no,
this
this isn't that though, because I feel
No,
like
yeah.
that like it's just interesting. I mean, you've got that scene with Asajj Ventress and Anakin, and they're in the rain.
Yes.
Yes, and it's just like
I remember that tattoo being so rad when I was a kid.
Yes, and like you're just like you don't think about that stuff, and it's like it's presented in another medium.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan fighting Dirge, Kit Fisto
Dirge.
underwater.
Yeah.
You get to see Mace Windu actually do something.
Yeah.
That isn't just chop off Jango Fett's head. Like, yeah,
It was cool, man.
Yes.
I can dig. Attack of the Clones.
Ooh.
You know what? This is a movie that I another one that I don't really agree with the hive mind on.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad. It is my least favorite of the prequels, which kind of teases where I'm going to throw it. But I still like it. And again, it's one of those things. I'm happy to watch this anytime. I
Yeah.
really like this movie. I think that I like the ending. I like this build up with the clones. Yeah, there's some goofiness in it, sure, but
Less goofy than the one before it.
it's not as yes, it's less goofy than Phantom Menace, but it's also less epic in my opinion. There's also some just really cool stuff. I love Dooku. I love Obi-Wan going on his little detective quest. It's just all fresh. I think
Jango Fett.
yes, it's all fresh to me. I think the prequels, that was really what they were. They were all just fresh ideas.
Yeah.
This has kind of messed with it a little bit because TPM's down here. I had it in B tier. As far as where at in this list, I would probably put it above Solo. I'd probably put it about there.
Okay. I had in C, so it's there.
Just put it there.
Yeah,
No,
it's fine.
no argument.
I mean, I like it. That's the whole thing. That
Just because it's going to bother me, I'm going to have to. TPM's just a better movie, in my opinion.
what's a better? Oh, the Phantom
What do you
Menace?
think? What is a better movie?
I'd rather
TPM?
watch. I'd rather watch Attack of the Clones
You'd rather okay.
any day
we'll
of the
keep
week.
it. We'll keep
yeah,
it.
that's just me.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
like them a little older. I like them. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
all matured a little bit. The story's a little bit more mature. Yeah.
Sure. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Mando.
Mando. I have it. It is in A tier. I have it behind Ahsoka. Or no, I have it in front of Ahsoka. Right there. Yeah.
Between a Force Awakens.
Yes. I don't think it's as good as Force Awakens, but I think it's better than Ahsoka. We're doing law of averages. I think Mando season 1 is epic. I think Mando season 2. No, season 2 is epic. Season 1, great start. Season 3, felt like Iron Man 3, where we just like weirdly had the wheels spinning. We kind of learned about ourselves a little bit, and then we put our guys, hey, we're gonna put you on the shelf and shine you up real nice. And guess what? Can't wait to see you in the next Avengers movie. That's how I feel about this. I can't wait to see you in Heir to the Empire. And so that's how I feel about the third season. But the other two, again, law of averages, yeah. Overall, yeah. And since we've had more.
I hate to say it.
You knock it down that far?
I love the first season. I love the second season. But again, we're talking law of averages. That third season really brings it down for me.
Yeah, but that's only one season.
I know.
What about the other two? When you're looking at this stuff, though?
Second season
is awesome.
There's
only one bad episode.
I wouldn't even say that. In my opinion, it's not even a bad episode. I think they all.
Which one is the bad episode, do you think?
Episode 2.
Yeah, it is. It sucks.
I like it. But
I like the chase in the beginning.
I like the first season a lot. I like the second season a lot. But that third season, I cannot overstate how much I dislike what happened in this show.
Yeah.
And it brings down the third season of this
It
show
does.
even
It hurts
farther.
He should have been by himself.
And this show also hurts itself even more by like the Darksaber stuff is super weird. And they make it like the Elder Wand. I don't like that. And they like, I like Bo-Katan. She has a good story in it. But then they set up great stuff with Gideon with the clones, but then they just kill them all. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'll feel better about it after a season 4. Maybe it's like, oh, they're replanting some stuff. But I think the third season was bad enough that it brings the whole thing down to very high B, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, I can't do much. I mean, we're doing averages, so there we go.
I mean,
It's fine.
I'd put it in low A.
Okay.
If that's what you'd prefer.
I mean, I really like the show.
I really do too.
Then
but
there you go. Then put it in a high A.
It's just that third season really, really kills it for me. Man, if we post this like board, like post it in our stories, people are gonna be like, "What?
Exactly. What are you guys talking about?" Let's do it.
Oh, it's me.
Yep, you're up.
Oh, the Clone Wars show.
The actual
Clone Wars show. Man, the law of averages has never applied more until this show.
Do you want me to just tell you mine real quick? Want me to just shotgun it? I'll just say it.
Sure.
It's the highest of the C tier. It is the average.
Wow.
It's the average.
Wow.
Because the peaks and the valleys. You got really good stuff, but then you've got just as much stuff that's just okay.
See, this is the only thing so we've been talking a lot about stuff that's really good and stuff that's not so good. This is the only show that I would say has stuff that's S tier. That final bit, like if you could just separate Siege of Mandalore, it would be right up there.
Yeah, because it's part of the story, but we can't look at it like that.
I know
you can look at it like that. Yeah.
But I'm saying that it's the only show, in my opinion, that has an arc or an episode that is S tier, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Because of that, I would go B, because it does have, I mean, you have that.
Bottom of B?
You have Mortis arc. You have the arc with Yoda where he goes to see the Wills. You have, I actually really like the Bad Batch arc in season 7. You have,
but then you've got the sisters, and you've got, and you've got Qui-Gon and Jar Jar hanging out, and you've got
Qui-Gon. You mean Mace Windu?
Or Mace Windu and Jar Jar hanging out.
And you can't forget R2D2 and the Frog and the Barren Wasteland.
Yes, I was going to say.
I know, but then you have the Umbara arc, and
there are good stuff.
I know it's a vast,
it's insane,
vast array.
It's insane, and so I'll give. What about bottom of B?
The stuff that's good though is so like with here, right? That stuff's so good.
It's better than Rebels.
I know. That's what I'm saying. And I think it's got to go here. Like the stuff, I would go. Dude, the good stuff though.
I would put it here. I'll give you that. Dude, I'll give you that.
But the stuff is so good.
What about Bad Batch? It's better overall.
I know, but
Tales of the Jedi is better than it too.
This has better isolated arcs, which I know we're doing law of averages.
Exactly.
But if we were doing law,
we gotta follow the rules.
I know. I'd say even with the averages, I'd go here. That's just my opinion. I'd go here with just because of Siege of Mandalore alone.
I don't agree, but fine.
Well, would you want to go on the other side of Bad Batch? I'll compromise with you there.
Fine. Put it on the other side of Bad Batch, because I just think that it's better. I think there's better episodes, like just overall.
Okay.
We have to go law of averages.
This might be the last one.
No, it's not. Oh, this is it. Oh my gosh.
We ended with this one.
Yeah. The Empire Strikes Back. And I think it's really interesting that you talked about Return of the Jedi being the top of the A, because and you didn't think it was as good of. I had Empire top of A.
No way. Okay, give your reasoning for this one.
So I think that you
think it's the worst of the original trilogy?
I think it's my least favorite of the three. It ends on such a sour note. Because Jedi's my favorite. Then I love this one because it's by itself. This needs the other movies though to make it work. It's like, have you ever heard that argument where Raiders of the Lost Ark or Empire Strikes Back, which is the better movie? Raiders is better because it's an actual complete story. It's not a complete story.
Okay.
So but I mean, again, law of averages, it's going to end up here because I assume you have it in S tier.
But it's the worst. I have it. Me personally, I have it right here in my personal list.
I also felt like it wasn't fair to just put the OT all completely in the S tier. That's me.
In my personal list, I only have these two in S tier.
And in my personal list, I have Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, A New Hope, and in S tier. Yeah.
See, when I think about S tier, I'm thinking about
again,
not only
I like this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Again, name, and I've talked about this before, name another movie that has that big fight feel throughout the entire movie. That's not Rocky. You can't, nor some sports movie where it's like, these two are going to throw down and then they do throw down. But the ending is such a downer. And it's weird because I love Infinity War because it's such a downer. But this is on like a whole new level, I feel like. That
I don't count that against it. When I think about this movie, I think about, again, there's no valley in this movie. There's not a low point for me.
It's good.
It's excellent from start to finish. Production wise, everything's firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
Immediately it looks better. It sounds better. The music is even better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the bad guys have a theme now.
I know. It's all so good. Vader's helmet is really reflective. It's all so good. You know that, wow, everything is stepped up in quality. And I talked about this last week.
I think too, sorry, you can keep going. I have another thought too.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I think too, this feels like home at the end. Nowhere in Empire because the good guys are running the entire time. Yeah. You have almost no feel good moment in it at all.
But to me, that's what makes it so good.
And maybe that's it. And maybe that's why I don't like it as much. Because I don't get
maybe Return of the Jedi for you only hits because of this movie.
And maybe that is the issue.
Because for me,
because this lets me down so much. This is how I get back.
Well, this is the struggle, right? Like I talked about this last week. A New Hope, you establish these characters, what they're all about, and they win because of it.
Yeah.
Empire takes all of that and flips it on
rips
its
it
head.
all about.
It's like, hey, you know this thing that made them win last time?
But not like how this does?
No, that subverts your expectations.
Okay, all right, keep going.
This is like, you know how Luke is super compassionate and brave? We're going to use that against him.
Yeah.
You know how like Han Solo and Leia, like how they're super brave and like we're going to use that against them, how they're heroic. It just takes all of that, it flips it on its head.
There's some really good moments.
Yoda and like the training and the themes and the cave. I don't know, man. That's tough. I'd have to put it.
Fine. Do law of averages. Put it between Jedi and A New Hope.
I'd put it between there.
That's fine. We have to do it. My whole thing too is like people always talk about like Han Solo's the best in Empire. I think he's actually the best in A New Hope.
Yeah,
I think he's kind of a jerk in Empire.
I mean, I don't like him in any of the movies.
Yeah, I'm more of a Han Solo fan than you. I wish I was all my life like I've wanted to be Han, but I know I'm just dorky Luke, dorky farm boy Luke.
So okay, that's going to
conclude the first list.
First tier list, the biggest one probably.
Probably the first of many.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe once a month we can do something like this. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
And look out for maybe a bonus episode on Halloween next week. Hint, a smaller little bite-sized episode. That'll be fun.
Yes.
Talking about some scary moments in Star Wars.
Spooky.
And then next week, what are we doing next week?
I don't have a clue.
You don't have a clue?
I don't know. What are we doing next week?
Are we doing some trivia still?
We might do some trivia.
We're gonna play a fun game. We're gonna do some. We're
just gonna wrap
Star Wars trivia with a twist.
Yeah.
It'll be some fun stuff. Mm-hmm. So please sound off in the comments about our list. Agree, disagree. I know you guys disagree. Come on, give us your own list. What do you think about it?
Yes.
Please give us a thumb. If you didn't like my opinions, you could throw the thumb down in there. I'd understand. Or if you don't, I'll just assume that it was because of Seth's opinion about Kenobi. So throw that in there. Hit the old sub button. We appreciate your support as always, guys. We'll see you beyond the Dune Sea next